Okay, doing this one on Arco Trim Capacitors. These are used, in linear amps, sometimes for input tuning, input trimmers, sometimes on smaller amps, even for the output tune or load sometime on the smaller, sweep tube amps. Um, the 30M series is one of the common one used. And by the way, the M is basically a higher voltage, 500 working volts for the M. And then the non-M's is 250 working volts. At one time, they made a HV version of these trim caps that was 1,000 volts, but they stopped making them, and those are very hard to find now. Those are pretty neat to get something with that high working range in such a small package. But anyway, I get the M's, and most amps use that 302M, which is 15 through 120 picofarads. That's what it's adjustable to. Most CB amps is going to tune around, whether the input or the output, like 40 picofarads for the tune cap. Whether that's an input tune or output tune, somewhere between 40, 60, maybe 80 for the tune cap. So that would be the 302M. 500 volt, 15 through 120 picofarads. That'll be right in the range. The next one, the 303M, has a little bit too much capacitance. The problem I found is the one we need the most, the 302M, is the hardest to find. And then when you find it, it's usually expensive because it's the most commonly used one, right? And supply and demand thing. But one thing I found is the only difference between the 302M, 3, 4, 5, then it just keeps going down all the way to the 314M or the GME15M, is they have a lot more capacitance as you go down. And how they do that is it's the same capacitor, the same trimmer, they just add plates to it, right? So this is a 303M. Pick that up. 303M, you can see it there taken fully apart. And you can go by the number. The 303M has 3 plates. A tab on the right. Then an insulator, tab on the left, another insulator, tab on the right tab plate. It's going to go left, right. And make sure you got an insulator in again, and 3 plates, and then your little adjustment screw, which basically compress them, and another plastic insulator on it. So basically, since they're all the same except for the number of plates, and we really only need 2 plates for the 302M to have 15 through 120 picofarads, I would suggest if you find any of these at a good price, and like I say, since these are not highly desirable, sometimes you can find these on cheap, the 303s, 305s, whatever, on eBay and other places, because it's not the one that people want. And what I found is if you take them apart and take all those plates out, you got the 5M, you got 5 plates, and just take it down to 2 plates and put it back together, you've just made yourself a 302, M, if you got the M ones on the cheap, right? And again, the M are the high voltage one, so it basically goes, a plate. There they do. Get in there. Come on, camera in one hand, and trying to do this thing with my left hand, and I'm not left-handed. And then an insulator. Trying to watch the camera as I do this. Then a plate. And we don't need that insulator because we got the insulator on here. And I just put that in and screw it down into there. Again, it's not being happy left-handed doing that. I'd screw that in there. And I've just converted this 303M with 3 plates, taken out one of the plates and the insulator in between every plate, and converted it into a 302M. Now I can use this as a 302M, and it should tune up fine for my input tuners or whatever else I'm going to use for it. And by the way, I'm working on my Drake L4, which somebody had robbed all the input tuning stuff, the coils and chokes and the capacitors. I just happen to have some spare ones laying around, but I had bought a bunch of 303s at one time because I knew about this trick, and just take the plate off, one plate off, and make it into a 302. One more tidbit about these type of trimmers: they are not grounded. They are actually shielded from ground. They are not grounded in any way. So if you wanted to ground these things, the center tap or nothing else grounds it. You would have to physically ground or electronically ground one side or the other. It don't make any difference which one, because you know both of them are insulated from ground and each other. So you'd have to actually ground one side. One thing on the Black Cat JB76, it has a capacitor, a fixed capacitor going from ground to this in series with this plate, and then this plate on the output side. And a lot of people think, you know, that one's grounded. It's not. Neither one side are grounded. You have to actually ground one side if you're going to want these things grounded. It does not ground itself on its own. So that's going to be it with this one. This is a chart I printed out that helps me out, tells me what's what with these 30 series Arco trim capacitors. Again, the M series is 500 volt, which is the one commonly used, and then the non-M, the 30 series without the M behind it, is 250 volt. And at one time they made a HV. Aria Parts used to sell it, and a few more, but as far as I know, they don't make it anymore, and you can't find the HV version, which was 1,000 volts. Those were neat. If I'd have known, I'd have bought, you know, quite a few of them. Okay, that's it on the Arco trimmers. 302M, 2 plates. That's all you need. All right, hope that helps somebody. Bye.